sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight from Busch Stadium, it is game number 2 of the 4-game series between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Milwaukee Brewers. The Kubota Power Stats. Why not take a closer look at Jed Jerko? Couple of home runs last night for the Cardinals' third baseman. He is now up to 6 to lead St. Louis in the home run category. Last night, not once, but twice. And both home runs hit the opposite way into right center as Jerko pulled the Cardinals close, but they fell just short in extra innings. This evening, we're at the UMB Champions Club. All-inclusive, all-you-can-eat, all-you-can-drink, and enjoy Cardinals baseball tonight. Jim Hayes is here. I'm Dan McLaughlin. That is the Cardinals Hall of Famer, Jim Edmonds, and welcome to Cardinals baseball. It is always a pleasure for us to do this broadcast here from the UMB Champions Club.
Yeah, the only bad thing for us is we don't get to enjoy the festivities. We don't get to eat and drink. We're just calling the game.
You're the only one.
But this is a great place to be.
You got the foam finger out. Jimmy is ready. We've got the UMB Champions Club packed here tonight. Should be a lot of fun. It is game number 2 of this 4-game series. The Milwaukee Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. A lot of all or nothing this year for Milwaukee. They lead the league in home runs and extra base hits. It's game 2, and it comes your way next. Club. Jim mentioned it yesterday. The ball was jumping out of Busch Stadium. That has been the case across the board in Major League Baseball.
It is. If you look at these numbers right here, progressively going up, the at-bats per home run or home run per at-bat. And then now look at on the right where you have the plate appearances with the strikeout. And what I'm looking at that is obviously we talked about the ball is juiced a little bit more. I started to notice it a couple years ago, about 2015. But the pitching, I'm seeing a lot more velocity, a lot more swing and miss rate. And I think it's just the timing of both coming together has really made these numbers pop up this year.
Speaking of velocity, one of the hardest fastballs in the game today is Carlos Martinez. So is Willie Peralta, the starter for the Milwaukee Brewers. Carlos Martinez against the Central, in particular against the Brewers, with great numbers against Milwaukee.
Yeah, these numbers are good, and you can see how it just kind of slowly goes up. But we're going to focus on today with these numbers with the Brewers. Hopefully he can get off to a good start and really work all the way through this. But I'll tell you what, even if you look at the bottom of that list right there, 4.15 isn't bad. I mean, there's some guys out there that have had some pretty good careers with a 4 ERA.
UMB Champions Club, that's the scene tonight. A live look as these folks get set for baseball. Game 2, Brewers and Cardinals coming up. Among friends. By Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest lasting full-size pickups on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Back at Busch Stadium, Jed Jerko, no surprise to see him at third base. Couple of home runs last night, also a couple of fine defensive plays as well. Carlos Martinez is on the mound for St. Louis, and this will be the lineup that he faces for Craig Counsell's club. Jonathan Villar, the switch hitter, followed by Eric Thames, Hernan Perez, Travis Shaw, the hero in last night's game, Domingo Santana, Nick Franklin, a switch hitter, Jet Bandy, Orlando Arcia, and the pitcher Willie Peralta, career 103 hitter. A look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal here for the hard-throwing Carlos Martinez.
Yes, we're going to get another chance to see this kid. There's an ace in the making. I keep saying it. We're waiting for him to really flourish. You know, the record's not where we want it to be. ERA not bad, but I think it's one of those things. It's just work in progress. He's a young man still, and he's learning at the big league level, which is a really tough thing to do.
The Cardinals defense with Grichuk in left, Fowler in center, Piscotty is in right. Jerko, Diaz, Wong, and Carpenter along the infield, and Yadier Molina is behind the plate. So Mike Matheny, he preaches, we're working on it, we're trying to get better, shore up some of the little things that have cost this club a few games, including back-to-back games. The Cardinals losing 2 in a row. 6th season as the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. Carlos Martinez on opening day was terrific. That was a Sunday night game to kick off the baseball season. He went 7 1/3 with 10 strikeouts. But since then, he is 0-3 in 4 starts, 15 earned in 21 1/3 innings. So that's got to change here tonight. And the first pitch is a ground ball hit to the right side, taken there by Colton Wong, 1 away. As we talked about in the open, Jimmy, this may be the right team for Martinez to face. Prior to the previous start against Milwaukee, in which he took a loss, 4-0, only 5 earned in 41 1/3. That's 7 starts, and he'd been really good against the Brewers.
Yeah, he has the Brewers numbers, but you know, every year is different. You never know what you're going to get. And like I said, this year he struggled a little bit with just command and doing certain things. And the thing about Carlos is he's not getting any run support at all. I think it was like 5 runs in the 4 or 5 outings that he's had total. So, you know, like I said, the ERA not awful, but no run support means no wins.
Good breaking ball, drops in for his strike, 1-2. Thames is hitting .341, and he was 1 for 4 last night with a double. 1-2 pitch, tapped foul. So Thames, the on-base percentage coming into play, .463. Only Bryce Harper and Freddie Freeman have a higher on-base percentage. 1-2 is out of play.
I really like what I see with this young man. He's just really consistent with his at-bats and his approach. He's not cheating. He's not trying to do too much. He's not getting caught up in the long ball. We saw him pretty early, a couple weeks ago, and then now nothing's changed. He's not like, oh, I got 11 home runs, let me see if I can hit 20. It's same at bat, day in and day out.
And from our vantage point here in the UMB Champions Club, you get a look at basically that shot right there, and you can see how still his head is. And that's something you talked about last night.
He gets his foot down and stays really compact.
Strikes out on a nasty pitch there by Martinez.
One thing, though, it is the big leagues, and you're going to see pitches like that, and it doesn't matter how still you are or how good you are, you're still going to make outs on nasty sliders down and in.
Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks. And strikeout number 1 for Carlos Martinez. And it brings in Hernan Perez. A new look for Carlos. The long hair is gone. Said he needed to change his luck. Baseball, a superstitious game, so why not?
Superstitious thing. I think, you know, he got off to a really good start with that first game and got a little, I would call it, if I was down there, a little comfortable. And this is a game you can't be comfortable in. You have to be on your guard all the time. Comfortable, never, ever, ever in this game. It'll humble you so fast. And you really just got to go out there and keep your head down and grind it out. You can't allow 1 or 2 good weeks, months, starts to just allow you to kind of walk around and do whatever you want.
Here's a 1-2. Misses in. That was a changeup at 90 miles an hour. Must be nice to throw a changeup that hard.
Harder than most guys' fastball.
Man, the 2-2 hit out of play.
They say they want the changeup 10 miles an hour slower than your fastball. Well, there you go. 90 and 100.
A little amped up maybe for this start. He's fun to watch. The 2-2 pitch. And a ground ball that's hit to short. Aledmys Diaz across the diamond, and they just got him. A 1-2-3, top of the first for Carlos Martinez. Mixed in with a strikeout of Eric Thames. Half inning in the books, no score. Off to a very good start. Last time out, beat the Reds 4 runs in 5 innings, an eventual 9-4 win. The Cardinals, though, have had his number, and leading things off, it'll be Dexter Fowler. And let's turn to our Toyota key to the game.
Well, we already saw a little bit of it in the first inning for the Brewers, but we're going to go with be ready to hit. Both of these guys are fastball throwing pitchers. One guy, Carlos Martinez, averaging about 95.6 to be exact on his fastball. And then you have Willie Peralta on the other hand, 95.9. So be ready to hit is my key to the game for both teams, actually.
And the first pitch to Fowler is taken for a ball. So Peralta has a record of 4-1, but the ERA is over 5. Last year at one point, slow start, sent to the minor leagues and was their opening day starter. And that's tapped foul. And to follow up on the numbers against the Cardinals, he's made 17 starts. He's 4-11 against St. Louis, 0-8 against the Cardinals in his last 10. So they have had his number. 2 balls and a strike. Here's a pitch to drive and a high fly ball out to Nick Franklin in left, and the catch is made. It's Fowler, Diaz, and Carpenter for Mike Matheny's club, followed by Jed Jerko, Steven Piscotty, Yadier Molina, Randall Grichuk, Colton Wong, and the pitcher Carlos Martinez.
Be interesting to see the styles of the two guys. I think that they both throw hard, but we're going to see a lot more movement out of Martinez than we will with Peralta. Martinez ball will go everywhere. Peralta, you saw even just in the first at bat, a lot of four-seam fastballs right over the top, and he's going to challenge you. You better be ready to go.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. What do you think? As a hitter, can you just bank on that? The first pitch is up and in on Diaz, and then slider away.
Yeah, I mean, that's the type of pitching that is taught. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get you to look in for the fastball, think you're going to challenge you. They're going to challenge you, and then the slider down and away, because obviously in off the plate is impossible to hit, and the sliders down and away are not fun either.
Ground ball slowly hit left side. Travis Shaw makes the play. Take a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal. Fastball, slider, change, and curve for Willie Peralta.
You see those fastballs, mainly fastball slider. You're going to get a good dose of hard four-seam fastballs tonight for the Cardinals offense.
Well, Carpenter, great stats against this right-hander. 20 for 43. That's a .465 average. 3 home runs, 6 doubles against Willie Peralta. And a fastball and a strike. Early on, the strike zone has been the outside corner to a lefty, in on a righty, and he's giving those calls to both these pitchers as the shift is put on for Carpenter. Here's the 0-1. Dan Iasonia is the home plate umpire. Mike DeMuro down at first, Trip Gibson at second, and Brian Gorman is the crew chief down at third. A ball and a strike on Matt Carpenter. That pitch right there. So this is the exact pitch that I'm talking about.
I don't know if that one is a strike, Dan. What do you think?
No, sir. Here's a 1-2. Popped up to the left side and out of play. Franklin, Perez, Santana, and the defense for Milwaukee. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Shaw, Arcia, VR, and Thames on the infield, and Bandy is behind the plate. Here's a 1-2. Carpenter rips it into right field. That ball is down all the way to the wall. Dug out by Santana, and it's a 2-out double for Carpenter. That slider he's had issues with.
Yeah, that slider, I don't think we have a stat for that, but in the notes that I was looking at today, you could see he struggles with this slider. He's got a really good average with his sinker and his four-seamer, but guys are hitting 400 off his slider, and that's something you don't see very often, especially with a guy like this. So what that tells me is, when I'm going to face him is, he's going to give you a lot of fastballs to hit, but he's not burying the slider with 2 strikes like he needs to, and it's not getting down like you saw the catcher on the ground, needed the slider down, and he just kind of rolled it up there.
So 2 outs and a runner at second, and it brings in the red-hot Jed Jerko. So the question is this: you've got a fastball hitter, a guy that can hit anybody's fastball at the plate, and yet the opposition is hitting 400 off that breaking pitch. What do you do if you're Willie Peralta?
You better make an adjustment.
Yeah.
You know what? He's doing a good. I mean, you spot the ball in and out. You got to move. You saw what he did with Carp, the ball off the plate, then tried to go back in. But that's the one thing. Like, you made really good pitches and get the hitter behind in the count, and then you just don't finish him off with that good slider. And it's like the difference between the get me over slider for a strike and the finishing one, which you're trying to get it to end up hitting the dirt by the feet.
It was the 7th double by Carpenter against Peralta. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Jerko in his last 9 games is 17 for his past 34. So 500 the average, 9 extra base hits, and 4 home runs. He is as hot as you can get.
Last night he looked like he was just going to get a hit, didn't he? The whole night. He just looked solid. And I was saying to you, we were talking about it, he looks like he's going to hit a home run here.
Here's a 1-2. And that time he got him with the breaking pitch. So strikeout of Jed Jerko. The 1982 World Series trophy on display here at the UMB Champions Club. After 1, there's no score. Move here today. With more on that, let's say hello to Jim Hayes.
Hey Dan, Tyler Lyons pitched a scoreless inning last night, but he said he felt something grab him while taking warm-up pitches last night. He says he doesn't think it's anything serious, but he goes on the 10-day DL with a right intercostal strain. That's a back issue to you and me. Lyons told me, quote, "No one thinks it's going to be too serious, and based on how good I feel today compared to yesterday, it's a pretty good sign that that's true." Sam Tuivailala has been recalled from Memphis to take Lyons' spot in the bullpen, Dan.
Well, good play there by Colton Wong, charging on that ball hit by Travis Shaw. I mentioned it earlier, Jimmy, that Well, it's a different look for Carlos Martinez here tonight.
Yeah, and it would seem that a lot of folks don't care for Carlos's beaded look, but Randall Grichuk is not one of them. Grich told me, quote, "I liked it. I contemplated doing it myself. I know if it looked good on him, it would look really good on me." So Dan Grich is one of the fans of the beaded look.
There's a fly ball lifted down the right field line off the bat of Santana. And that's 5 up and 5 down.
Maybe we could get some locks for Hayes.
Maybe so.
That would be nice.
What
Under
about
that
you?
headset.
Would you be into that?
I'd try it.
Why not? The Krispy Kreme dozen deal. Cardinals get 9 hits tonight. You're invited into Krispy Kreme tomorrow. Receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $3.99. Stop by one of the 5 St. Louis area Krispy Kreme locations or locations in Bloomington or Springfield, Illinois for this sensational deal. I don't care how you look, just get people out.
You said it.
Oh, nice play here by Diaz. Stays with it, throws, and got him. Franklin can really get down the line. The Brewers, I'm sure, will take a long look at this. To the naked eye, I thought he was safe. First base umpire Mike DeMuro called him out. And they will not challenge. So nicely done by Diaz to stay with that play and a hard hit ball. And we'll move to the bottom of the second. Aledma showing off the arm. Just got him. No score. Our annual telecast, and the Cardinals are offering a great promotion tonight only, where the Brewers are in town June 13th, 14th, and 15th. There's a check swing and a strike on Piscotty. Visit Cardinals.com/TV. Specially priced UMB Champions Club tickets for that series for $99 at Cardinals.com/TV. All-inclusive buffet, indoor club, so if it's hot in June you can cool off. Outdoor seating, 30 flat screen TVs on a night like tonight. That's a good night with the Blues in action in game number 4.
Just like your house.
3 full service bars. The 30 flat screens at my house.
Flat screens.
Let's see, we got Barney on one.
That's how you measure a man's wealth in flat screens.
I'm lucky if I can get my TVs to work. Here's a 1-2 to Stephen Piscotty in the dirt. Average at 233. Mike Matheny talked about it yesterday. Steven is close in his opinion. Has really been trying to work on his swing. And more times than not, you see guys that are putting the ball in the air. And I had a long conversation today with Mark McGuire about that. And it was interesting in the fact that he said the game has changed so much from when he played. And remember, he was one of the guys that really started using backspin on the ball. But he said when you look at shifts, now if you hit a ground ball hard and you think it's in the hole, it's an out. So you got to put it over the infielders. And it's something that's been talked about a lot, and it makes a lot of sense in the game today.
Yeah, a lot of guys would have to change their swings. There's a lot of guys that are ground ball hitters that hit a lot of sharp ground balls up the middle and even in the hole, and the hole is not there anymore. So if you're still hitting ground balls, you're taking your chances. But as you'll see over the course of the year, they'll show spray charts, and guys will be standing right where you normally hit it.
0-1 pitch. Great to visit with Mark. Talked to him for about 30-40 minutes today, and he does fully anticipate being here for the Cardinals Hall of Fame ceremony in late August. Obviously a coach with San Diego, but Andy Green, the manager, would surely let him leave for a day or two and be a part of what is a very special night for him and day. The 2-1 pitch. You know Mark so well, and he was very emotional in talking with him about this honor and putting on the red jacket, what this place means to him. His wife is from the area. The children come back here all the time to visit their grandparents, and he is awfully excited, along with Tim McCarver, about going into that Cardinals Hall of Fame. 3-1 pitch taken high, and the Cardinals have their second base runner of the night.
You know, most people don't really know him that well, and we see the old footage of when he hit home runs, and you remember the interviews where he was all about the team. He's a humbled man, and he was always about not wanting the limelight. And the bad thing for him is, you know, you really can't hide when you look like him, when you're 6'5", red hair, and
he
you're
is
humongous.
One of the biggest stories in the world, not just in baseball, but in the world at that time.
And that wasn't comfortable for him, and that was really a struggle for him over the years. And you know, I think he's better. He can stay in the dugout more often now, and he loves the game. He loves to teach hitting. And he's a really good student of the hitting, and he helped me a lot. So I loved talking to him, and I've tried to pass that knowledge down to guys like Grichuk and some of the younger players. But it's a lot of fun. Learning from that guy was awesome.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Grichuk jammed just a bit, pops it up to the right side. VR on the outfield grass makes the catch. He said he would like to manage at some point if that would come up. Really enjoying his time, though, working with the younger players.
I'll tell you what, he's been putting in his time. I don't know I don't know how a managing job won't come up for him. The thing it will be interesting to see is if that opportunity comes up anywhere near the West Coast, because then he's going to have to weigh, am I going to leave my family again for that opportunity, or am I going to wait it out and see if anything comes up closer to home?
Colton Wong is hitting .261 with a home run and 10 RBIs. First thing he did when he walked in the clubhouse yesterday after the game, he said, that one is on me. And he was there to answer anybody's question after the game, standing at his locker. He knew it was coming, made a costly error, base running mistake, and was there to answer the questions of the media. Center fielder Hernan Perez, very deep.
That's not even deep right there. That's like, he's on the other side of, he's on the east side. He's over in Sojay over there on the other side of the river. He's got to get his waders on because it's so wet going across the river. He is really deep.
Sounds like you know that place fairly well.
That's funny. What I don't know is that area out there in center field. I can promise you that. That is deeper, almost as deep or deeper than no doubles. I think maybe he was watching the game last night a little too close.
So Broxton have to go back on a couple of balls. 1 ball, 1 strike. The other thing, and I'll just finish it up with McGuire here. I said, now that you can reflect on it, many have said you saved the game of baseball. And he was so humble at that point, he never said, well, no, that's not true. Baseball's a great game. He said today, I look back on it, I feel I did.
There's no question. And I don't care what anyone thinks about him or what he did. That year saved baseball. And, you know, Sammy was right there with him. But it was a great thing that they were both going at it. Made it even that much more fun to watch.
Strikeout of Colton Wong, and 2 in the inning, 3 in the game for Willie Peralta. We head to the 3rd. There's no score. By Academy Sports and Outdoors, proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals. By the new Brunch Fest menu. It's brunch time anytime at Jack in the Box. And by your local St. Louis area Volkswagen dealers. It's a great deal. The UMB Champions Club. Again, you can get your tickets. Cardinals.com/TV. $99. Great price point. And it's for tonight only. June 13th, 14th, and 15th. Those games will be on sale for $99 against the Brewers. And a pitch taken low, and we're underway here in the top of the 3rd. Just head to Cardinals.com/TV for those tickets. Here's Jet Bandy. Good slider. And the 1-1 is hit back foul and out of play.
So far, I like what Martinez has been doing. See that he didn't start the game off with that kind of just easy 91, 94 sinker, trying to keep his balance. He's really letting it go today, and he's using every bit of his body with each pitch. He's not just kind of every now and then stopping his delivery. He's changing it up, and we talked about that in his last start. And I think that's important. You got to be able to pitch consistently and just be able to take a little off and add a little. You just can't completely stop and abandon what you're doing.
1-2 the count. There's the slider, and it's tapped foul. How would you describe his delivery? Sometimes he's falling off towards first base. Sometimes he's more direct, straight towards the plate. Other times it's not as pronounced to the left side.
I mean, I like that right there. What I'm saying is I personally struggle with when he struggles is usually starts the game one way, then gets super aggressive, and then tries to back off. It's like I like the fact that he can do all of that, but I, as a former player, would love to see him more consistent with just the delivery, and then use his stuff and take a little off for the different velocities.
Right there is something the Cardinals have been trying to get Diaz to do a little bit more of, which is charge the ball. Now that was more by purpose because of a slowly hit ball, but they want him to be aggressive. Don't sit back, trust your instincts, be aggressive.
Yeah, it's something you really need to work your way towards. It was a good thing that Jose Oquendo taught a lot of the guys when I was here, was work your way towards first base when the ball is coming at you. Get around it, get your momentum going to first, and probably take a little bit of that pressure off your arm by using your body and your feet. Can't sit back and then get started from nothing and then use all your arm to get it there.
Jerko is playing in, and there's 2 outs. We just had a shot of those kids over there, and that was Tyler Hayes, the son of Jim Hayes. He's here tonight. That means Cardinals are going to win this game. There's Tyler, young man in the white Cardinals jersey. You talked about 4-seam, 2-seam grip. You saw it there. Had plenty of time to arrange it in his throwing hand and make a good toss. Diaz settles and throws. Good start for Carlos Martinez. That's 9 up, 9 down. No score midway through 3. Size drink is 50 cents the next day at On the Run. When the Redbird scores 6, keep the celebration going. And stop by On the Run tomorrow for a thirst quenching win. You earned it. There's Coach Dave and his son of the Knights basketball program. He got the night off from coaching and taking in the UMB Champions Club. They have their picture taken with Jim Edmonds. Not a bad start to their day up here.
I like this little home up here. It's a little noisy for a broadcast, but the food is amazing. The people are nice. I think they have all the free drinks you can. Look at that.
The carving station. And again, if you'd like to get those tickets, June 13th, 14th, and 15th, it's cardinals.com/TV. And those are $99, so the price point is perfect. And why not take it in? One night only.
We're not talking about ballpark food either, by the way.
No,
sir.
sir.
Like gourmet dinner.
Here's Carlos Martinez and the 0-1 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's an all-inclusive buffet. they have the normal ballpark fare if you like that, but also the upscale buffet that you see there. 30 flat screen TVs, the full service bars, wherever you may be here at the UMB Champions Club. It's so good that Jimmy's wife just showed up, and she doesn't make many games.
It's dinner time.
When we're here at the UMB Champions Club, she's all over it.
I don't know if she can hear you. It's too loud in here.
2-2 the count on Carlos Martinez.
It's already started.
She didn't come here to see you.
Nope.
The 2-2 pitch, and Martinez waves at it. So first time through this lineup, Peralta with 4 strikeouts, 1 hit allowed. That was the double to Carpenter back in the first.
He's been doing a good job. He's been moving that fastball around and mixing in that slider. You know, he hung that slider to Cart, but he hasn't really made a mistake with it the rest of the day. And so far, he's been able to pitch in. And you know, the key to pitching is pitching in for strikes, not just off the plate, and then being able to throw that slider and spotting that fastball away. And he's made a good adjustment ever since that double by Carpenter.
Here's Dexter Fowler, fly to left his first time up, and a strike at the knees.
And that's what I'm talking about right there. That's the get me over slider that you cannot throw with 2 strikes. That's a great pitch to get strike 1, but not late in the count.
Maybe a good example of that would be last night with Travis Shaw and that slider.
Yeah, the slider did through just did not get down.
Lefties hit .349 against Peralta. And that's probably the indication of the slider not being as effective that it needs to be if it's spinning and doesn't break sharply down and into a lefty. And now time is called.
I don't know if we've even seen a changeup yet, so that's something you don't have to worry about. And that's the thing for pitchers too, is if he's throwing a hard slider and a hard fastball, as a hitter you just have to look hard. There's no really off speed to really have to make an adjustment. And so for me, now I'm just eliminating having to swing at that slider unless I have to. So I'm just going to look dead red fastball, and he's going to have to hit his location, which he's doing a really good job of it tonight.
Foul not by much off the bat of Dexter Fowler. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's it out of play. The motto in Chicago, as Dexter goes, we go. And many ways the same here. Cardinals really counting on the top 3 to get on base. Fowler, Diaz, Carpenter. Dexter with 17 runs scored to lead the club. Looks at a breaking ball a bit low, and the count is full. They play him to pull, and again time is called. The 3-2 pitch, and Fowler bounces it to the right side, taken there by Thames. Touches the bag for out number 2, and Dexter 0 for 2. And there's 2 away. Ledmus Diaz with a home run yesterday, and that was his 5th of the year, as he's driven in 8. And Thames, Eric Thames over at first, showing a little versatility. We've seen him against the Cardinals already play right, left, and at first base, which is where he'll primarily play this year. Last night, home run that sneaks over the wall and left.
Yeah, you see the average for Diaz is down, but the power is still there. So guys are trying to make adjustments, finding out what he can't hit, moving the ball around on him, but he's going to have that power. So if you make a mistake, he's going to hammer you.
Easy play for Shaw. So both these pitchers early on are locked in. We head to the 4th, and there's no score. The Blues in action later tonight. We'll keep an eye on that. And Jim Hayes, it looks like Matt Adams is also keeping a close eye on the Blues.
Yeah, he is. He's born and raised in Pennsylvania, as you know, not too far from Pittsburgh. He had been a lifelong Penguins fan. That started to change when his career brought him to St. Louis. Now he's a full-blown Blues fan. He told me he became a diehard Blues fan when he met Joel Edmondson and Robbie Fabry through his trainer, and they've become really good friends. Adams says the high schools around where he grew up didn't offer hockey, but he told me now that he's trimmed down, he feels like he would make a pretty good enforcer. Dan, he quickly changed his tune when I asked him about Ryan Reeves. He said, never mind, I'd never mess with that guy. Good decision, I think.
Maybe we should introduce him to one Tony Twist. That might change his mind too.
Yeah, I think he'd stick to baseball, no question.
Jimmy, go get some nachos with young Tyler and enjoy the UMB Champions Club. Here's
you bet.
1-2 pitch to VR and a fly ball out to left. Grichuk under it, and he makes the catch.
I think maybe he was having a little bit of fun with Jimmy, and he realized what he said and went like, wait a second. Did I just tell the cat that? He's going to go tell somebody.
It's hard to believe it was just a few months ago you were on this field playing a little hockey.
Yeah.
Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Ivan Rodriguez, Johnny Bench, and then Yadier Molina with the 8 Gold Gloves. And you played with Yadi for a number of years, and you understand, I think like most of us do, the importance of Molina, especially when it comes to defense.
I mean, it really doesn't get any better. And I think what is missed a lot of times is how important that is as far as calling pitches and knowing the hitter that you're dealing with at that point during the game, and also your pitcher. You got to know what your pitcher's capable of and what he's not capable of, and when you need to go out there and get more out of him, and then when you need to go out there and calm him down.
How vocal was Yadi behind the scenes and in the clubhouse? We'll get your thoughts after this 1-2 pitch. Was he very vocal behind the scenes?
You know what? He's very to the point. He's not really vocal unless it needs to be said. He's not going to waste his breath. He's busy doing his thing and studying. And most catchers are like that. They're not rah-rah guys. They're very their job is very time consuming, and so they don't get to waste their breath worried about that.
What a play there by Cole Long to rob Eric Thames. Good for Cole. That's a nice play there.
It's a nice another line drive by Thames. I mean, that guy just continues to hit line drives all over the yard, and like you said, that was a really nice play by Colt. We all know that he can make the plays and he can be spectacular. It's sometimes that routine ground ball that catches you just getting a little bit too relaxed. And last night, that ball got hit at him was hit hard, and he just took a little too much off the throw.
Back to Martinez, and he underhands to Matt Carpenter. Carlos is sharp tonight with a little help from Colton Wong. the mystery replica 1967 ring, also the Budweiser pregame celebration, the 50th anniversary of the 1967 team, and it's all coming up. And that is May 17th against the Boston Red Sox. Still, those $9 tickets are available for you as well. We're at the UMB Champions Club inside Busch Stadium. Here's Carpenter. He has the only hit in this game for either side. A 2-out double back in the first, and then was left stranded. And the 1-0 pitch. May 18th is a big night here at the ballpark. First installment of 2017 in our speaker series with Bob Gibson and Tim McCarver. Cardinals.com/events. Autographed baseball. Head down to the field. Picture with the 67 trophy. 90-minute Q&A. And it's with two of the all-time greats that ever wore this uniform here in St. Louis. Bob Gibson and Tim McCarver on stage May 18th. And those tickets are selling out very, very quickly. Cardinals.com/events. Here's a 2-1 pitch. The ability to spray the ball all over the place. And yet on the infield, it'll tell you that he puts it on the ground. That's the spray chart.
And that's what makes him so good. He can hit the ball all over the place. Kind of a pull hitter, but he still hits the ball up the middle and the other way a little bit. But you have to hit the ball all over the field in the big leagues to be successful. And that goes to show you, we all know what kind of player he is and how he rises to the occasion. But having that ability to hit the ball from line to line is what just makes it that much easier, makes it that much harder to pitch to.
It's on the ground to the right side and then sprays it in the outfield. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Willie Peralta last year, 23 starts, went 7-11. ERA was right around 5. The 2-2 fouled back in a good cut. Does this catch our camera? Pretty close. The 2-2. And a strikeout of Carpenter. No argument. And that's 5 now for Willie Peralta.
That was that slider again right there he threw, and I don't think it did anything. I don't know if that was a changeup or a slider, but it was flat. But sometimes when you're that backup slider, when you're a hitter and you see it spinning and you're waiting for it to come down and it just doesn't do it, it locks you up.
Here's Jed Jerko, struck out against that slider back in the first.
That right there, I think, was one of the tougher things to do as a hitter, is take that pitch right there, knowing that the pitcher is going to challenge you and challenge you in. To be able to take the fastball and not cheat so much that you can tell it's inside off the plate is huge, because usually when you speed up trying to get out in front of that ball, you just swing because it's in. And that's what tells you how locked in Jed Jerko is. Doesn't mean he's going to get a hit every time, but he's seeing the ball.
Pitch was up, went after it, and it's 2-1. Look at the bottom right there with St. Louis. So it's been a year and a month plus, and he's averaging a home run every 12.9 at bats. And he bounces it to third. Travis Shaw makes the play. 2 down.
Another good fastball by Peralta, just in on the corner. You see guys swinging over the top of him.
Fox Sports Go, take us wherever you go. Cardinals, Blues. Download the app at Fox Sports Go. pretty amazing to look at those numbers with Jerko, what he's done in St. Louis. And here's a guy that signed a long-term deal with San Diego, struggled so much in the eyes of those of the Padres, was sent down for a bit. Sometimes you get a little older, you figure things out, change of scenery.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's one of the toughest places to play there is for a hitter, and I just don't. I mean, that could hurt anyone there. You could take your game, your A game, to San Diego and just really struggle. I felt like when I went there, there was nothing I could do right. And guys like that, you know, and then all of a sudden you become a bench player, you figure it out a little bit, get some time to play and watch, and all of a sudden now you can't get them out of the lineup.
One and two with 2 outs. Up and in. Fights it off up the middle, base hit. The Cardinals' second hit tonight.
That is what I'm talking about right there. The ability to stay within yourself, knowing that he's pitching you in, and fight that ball off, not try to do too much. As soon as you start to do too much is when you start swinging at the ball over your head, you start chasing the slider off the plate, and like I said earlier, you start swinging at the ball that maybe gets a little too far inside. That's why everyone talks about Piscotty being so consistent and so smart about what he's doing. He just stays within his game plan.
So a 2-out hit brings in Yadier Molina. And Yadi hits a ground ball left side, bobbled a bit by Shaw, across the diamond, and they get Yadier Molina. The UMB Champions Club. Get your tickets, cardinals.com/TV, just tonight. 168 here at the ballpark. We're at the UMB Champions Club. Carlos Martinez has been outstanding thus far here tonight. 12 up, 12 down. Here's Shaw, and he looks at a high strike. Grounded out to second, first time up. And the 0-1 pitch. The Brewers have led at some point in each of their past 20 games, 25 of 27 overall. That is hard to do. Working quickly, and the 0-2 is slapped the other way down the line and out of play. Brewers lead the league in home runs with 47. And a breaking ball lifted out to center, and the first base hit for the Brewers tonight. Arcia in the driver's seat. Jimmy's been talking about this a lot. Good offensive club, extra base hit leaders. Team-wise, Milwaukee 107 to lead the National League.
Yeah, these guys swing the bat. I mean, they really do. And you can see, you watch Travis Shaw, watch this young man hit right here, Santana. These guys swing at the ball aggressively, like it's a violent swing. And even that ball Shaw hit right there was a line drive. He's got some pop. I mean, we saw those 2 home runs he hit against us, but even just the line drives he hits for outs, or even just that base hit, you can see some backspin and some carry.
Good pitch to Santana. He had 2 home runs in the game on Sunday. Eight ground ball outs so far of the 12 that have been recorded for Carlos Martinez. Love the ground ball here. That pitch is up.
Out of 5, 6s, and 4s on the old scorecard, huh? A lot of 5s and 6s. But that's what you want. You want him to be able to pitch to the ground ball and put guys away when he needs to.
So working from the stretch first time tonight, and the 1-1. You mentioned something earlier during our open. I found it interesting. The ERA for Martinez is just over 4 against the Chicago Cubs, 4.15. And the 2-1 pitch took a little off it. This day and age of baseball, you know, it's respectable. It's not great. It's probably not good, but it's respectable.
We talk about that's his worst, right? And we were looking through some of the stuff over the years, pitchers that had 4s. I mean, like, we're saying that's terrible for him. Guys like Jack Morris, a 3.9 ERA, Bob Tewksbury, 3.92, a Dave Stewart, 3.9, Bartolo Colon, Mark Langston with the Angels. Look at Barry Zito, David Wells. And then at the bottom, Rick Porcello, last year's Cy Young winner, 4.20 career ERA. So it's not really great, but you can have a long career in that low 4 range and still be effective with a good team, obviously, and get some run support. And what we still go back to is, even he's been good, he has no run support.
Franklin out to right. There's Stephen Piscotty. Makes the catch. Back to the bag at first goes Shaw. There's some pretty big names on that list.
Surprised me too, and I actually did some digging on my own with that list today, and I was intrigued by it. There's a lot of guys that maybe if you're a historian, you know, and not, those are the kind of the names that I threw out there that I thought people would know that are watching today, but some very interesting names on that list. And like I said, just because he has a 4 doesn't mean that's his struggle point. That's still pretty good. That shows you how good this young man's going to be.
And let's face it, the game has changed. ERA around 3 now is considered, hey, you're getting the job done, especially in the American League.
Yeah, I mean, Porcello, last year's Cy Young winner, 22-4, obviously. That is awesome. But his ERA was 3.15.
Right.
And so that's not usually your ERA leader or your Cy Young leader is going to be in the mid 1s, high 1s, low 2s. I don't know. I mean, I would love to see when the last time a guy was. Watch this.
Throw to second. Offline. He almost got it with the bounce off the bricks behind him.
He's
the ball
not
that
happy.
scooted through.
He knows if he'd have made a better throw, he would have had him.
He's also mad that it got through him too.
Well, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity right here, and he just didn't get the throw on the money to get that ball to come back. And you know it. You know that ball bounces back. He got a shot. Good try by Colton right there to make something happen. But yeah, he's doubly upset at himself for one, the ball getting through his legs, and then getting that ball back so fast. He had a great chance to still throw him out.
It's the first time a man has been in scoring position for the Brewers tonight. Bandy grounded out to short, first time up, and the 1-1. A slider misses away. Three and one to count. Eighth place hitter Arcia is on deck. Little bit low in the first walk issued by Martinez, and this has been the only inning tonight he's run into just a little bit of trouble.
That was interesting right there too. 3-1 slider. Maybe, you know, he got the base open obviously, but pick your poison right here. Do you go after a guy like Bandy, or maybe go after Arcia here and start the count over and start your imagination all over and work on something here instead of trying to really make something up to come from behind.
Runners at first and second.
And that's
Orlando
all coming from
Arcia.
Yachty. Sorry, that's all coming from Yachty, and that's Yachty's game plan.
And a ground ball to Diaz, underhands to Waugh. So the Brewers strand two. We're midway through five. Good ball game tonight. There's no score. Brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors, proud sponsor of the Cardinals. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment, quality, reliability, and value. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search STIHL. Reminder, we're at the UMB Champions Club for those of you that have just joined us. And we have special tickets for you at cardinals.com/TV. Specially priced for $99 for the games on June 13th, 14th, and 15th. Won't get that price throughout the season anywhere else. And it's only available tonight, cardinals.com/TV. So if you haven't been here before, make sure you take it in for that price point. Well worth the money. Great experience here. Here's Randal Grichuk, 7, 8, and 9 for the Cardinals. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You see that slider right there. It's the slider where you throw too many of those and you throw them over the plate. Those are the ones that get hit.
Then he goes with the inside fastball, pulled foul 1 and 2.
And he's done a really good job with that fastball inside both sides of the plate. It's a lot of guys are good enough and are willing enough to throw the ball inside this much, and it really is a good pitch to have as a weapon. The guts to be able to pitch inside and in off the plate and move the ball around is what you need to have to pitch at this level like this. With his velocity to do that, that's pretty good.
The check swing did go. Grichuk strikes out number 6 tonight for Willie Peralta.
I don't know if that was a swing there, Dan. I'd like to see this in slow-mo. No, I can't give you that one. That's not a good call. You need a little help on that one. And you can tell in that man's face right there.
Not too happy.
Doesn't take long to get underneath your skin when you're battling like this.
Wong trying to butt his way on with the pitcher on deck and 1 out.
To me, as a watching from a distance now, but as a player, I'm always wondering why, if it's just in the heat of the moment you want to jump on that, why they just don't look down to first base and ask every single time. Why would you put yourself, or why do you put yourself in that position? I guess maybe it's a lot harder than it looks, for sure. But I feel like that was your saving grace, right?
And Wong hits it into right. Extra bases coming up here. Hustling out of the box, thinking 2. The home plate umpire feels you commit, and there is kind of a misconception with a check swing. And the idea is it's not going past a certain point. It's if the umpire feels you commit to swing. And once he makes that call, it's over. But, you know, I agree with what you're saying, where you could get help from others if you're just a bit unsure. The speed of Cole Wong, and no doubt there, double for the Cardinals second baseman.
Did a really good job of pulling his hands inside the ball and getting on top of that ball and hitting a line drive, where that most of the time he's been popping that ball up all year, and a lot of guys pop that ball up, and that's a really good job. He did that yesterday with 2 strikes. Making adjustments is what this game is all about, and he's starting to make little ones here and there.
And a strike on Carlos Martinez. That caught Jet Bandy. Not Jeff, but Jet. J-E-T-T.
Not laughing.
No, sir. We saw it last night with Pena. What a tough position that must be to be a guy like Yadier Molina and playing as much as he does. You know, Bandy and Pena are really splitting a lot of the time. You know, but you look up at the end of the year, Yadi will catch 145 games.
It's a lot of wear and tear.
Sure
a lot
is.
Of foul balls. A lot of nicks, a lot of bruises.
They're all saying better him than me.
So am I.
Throwing out our ceremonial first pitch tonight was Tom Pagnozzi, Gold Glover. He was part of the Bud Bash tonight, signing autographs, taking pictures. Good to see him back in town. You start looking at some of the defensive numbers for Pags, and pretty impressive over the years. 0-2 pitch.
A lot of good things about him. Never got a chance to see him play.
Oh, yeah.
Never got a chance to really play with him, play against him, but
the bottom there, and our folks in our graphics department, Keith Oberman and his assistant Keith O'Brien, went back to specifically look at 1991, 70 caught stealing.
Wow.
0-2 pitch to Martinez in the dirt and kept in front. Ouch.
another bruise.
And it's not like at this level you can take a play off. I mean, you've got to block the ball. There are guys that are ready to take your job, and a lot of catchers can't hit, so they've got to stay in the game at this level with their defense.
Although I'm willing to bet if you ask Mr. Pena from last night, he took a couple pitches off. Maybe mentally or physically, one or the other. Just turning a little sideways. It was very uncomfortable for a few pitches.
Runner at second is Colton Wong. We are scoreless here in the bottom of 5. And a 2-2 pitch. Martinez dropping down to a knee. I thought that's only reserved for Adrian Beltre.
That's the only person I had in mind right there. I was like, reminds me a little bit of Adrian Beltre, but without the swing.
Without the power.
Without the power. Without staying
hitting
back.
ability.
Hair may be the same.
2-2.
No.
And he strikes out for the second time. Throw will go to first. Wong stays put at second. 2 strikeouts in the inning and 7 in the game.
You ever notice that he doesn't like his head touched? Beltre?
Oh, yeah. He gets after guys when they do that. So runner at second, 2 outs, and it brings in Dexter Fowler. Now, what do you think that conversation is about with Bandy and Peralta? Lefties have come in hitting him very well. Worth repeating, 350.
Well, you also got to remember that Colton's on second. So maybe too many pitches with him on second. Maybe want to change the sign. But I think what you said is really important too. It's maybe a reminder. Hey, this guy, this, or hey, let's get this guy here. I mean, it still is a 0-0 game, and there's the guy. Basically, the winning run is on second base in this game right here. There's 2 outs, so even just a bloop single's a run. So yeah, both of those things are super important right now.
The first pitch to Fowler. Taken for a ball low.
Back in the day, I think that guys relayed signs from second base. I don't think they do that as much anymore. I think everybody kind of more or less is on their own program nowadays and doesn't trust that, because it really takes the art of studying the team and the pitchers and the catcher. It's something that teams are still afraid of, but I don't think it's really in the game as much as it used to be. And so change up the signs, make sure they're not relaying the signs from second base. Probably has obviously nothing to do with him running.
We mentioned last night how well you were able to pick up a pitch, detected something with a pitcher. How often do the runners like a Colton Wong give location or a pitch to a hitter, or is it something that, hey, we're just not going to do that because I don't want to get somebody hurt?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying, as far as I think that people now are not trusting as much as they were in the past and don't really want to rely on that communication. I never did either. I wanted it for myself because I didn't fully trust the person unless you really know that person is going to be in that game with you no matter what. Is not going to take a pitch off. I really just wanted to do it on my own, and I felt that I was pretty good at it. But like I said, they're still worried about it and will change signs every now and then.
And if you get caught, you're the hitter or the runner. Next time up, you better duck.
Yeah, and like I said, well, that's part of it too. But you know, you also don't want to get anyone hurt. And so if you relay the wrong sign and you get guys diving on an inside fastball, that's not a good situation. Especially righty, righty, lefty, lefty.
Fowler looks at ball 4. So the second walk issued by Peralta. The Chevy Fox Tracks, they were very careful in this at bat with Dexter Fowler. So runners at first and second. We're at the bottom of the 5th. There's no score. 2 outs and 2 on.
back to what you were talking about, man on second, the Toronto Blue Jays of the past in the late or early 90s, mid 90s, if you didn't do that, they would be all over you as a teammate. Like, that was a requirement, was to
steal
go
signs.
out at second base and get signs. They would take pitches to allow a guy to steal to second base so they could establish some kind of situation with the signs. And I remember talking to some of their players, and they were like, it was completely frowned upon. Like, you might not last in the big leagues with that team if you didn't make that effort. And they would teach and learn and figure it out, and they were good at it.
That's amazing. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runners at first and second. And the next two are Aledmys Diaz. High chopper to third. Shaw across the diamond. Cardinals strand 2. So St. Louis with 3 hits on the night. The Brewers with 1. And there's no score. Being worn there. Stands here at Busch Stadium. Blues playing in a matter of moments in Nashville. We'll have updates for you and a post-game show coming up right here on Fox Sports Midwest following St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Good luck to the Blues. The top of the 6th. Willie Peralta leads it off, and a fastball taken low and away. Carlos Martinez has allowed 1 base hit. He has walked 1, both coming in the 5th. Now that's unfair to Willie Peralta.
Well, first of all, I think it's a ball. Second of all, yeah, that nasty slider at him. There it is again.
And a fly ball lifted into center field. Dexter Fowler makes the catch.
Probably scared him just as much as anything.
You know, the one thing that this vantage point does for us, and you get accustomed to always being behind home plate when you're in the booth, but when you're here and we're down the third base line and in shallow left, if you will, how much ground is covered by an outfielder? I mean, it is an enormous amount of space that's being covered that maybe we don't necessarily see or pay that much attention to up in the booth.
There's a lot of green grass out there, and this is I think one of the bigger outfields in the league, just the way the outfield fence kind of goes into the gaps deep. They don't really, it's not rounded off, kind of just goes straight and then across. Makes it really tough to get out there where that Phillips 66 sign is.
Good play by Wong to his left, spinning, and he throws out VR, who's over 3. Colton with a couple of nice plays tonight. Frozen drinks are back, Coca-Cola, and so much more. Get it all at McDonald's. See, we're smart. We got a little hockey going on up there, but I know, Jimmy, your focus is solely on what's happening there.
Focused on that guy right there. This guy.
You haven't paid attention for years now. Why start tonight?
Why start now?
Here's Thames, and that's ball one. A change up taken low, 2 balls and no strikes.
He's getting a little tired. His changeup's down to 88.
Going the other way, backing up, Grichuk, plenty of room, and makes the catch. So 1, 2, 3 go the Milwaukee Brewers, and we're midway through 6. Hayes is here as well, along with Tyler, his son, here at the UMB Champions Club. T-Mobile Unlimited Baseball break. Santana going tonight for Minnesota. Jeremy Hellickson at Chicago today. And Chris Sale, one of the best in baseball, on display against Baltimore. It's Carpenter, Jerko, and Piscotty. Carpenter with a base hit into right and was also called out on strikes back in the 4th. It was this date 1939. Lou Gehrig would tell his manager Joe McCarthy he's benching himself for the good of the team. 2,130 consecutive games that he played in. 2-1-3-0. The longest current streak right now in baseball is 195. Alcides Escobar. Last year, 3 players played in every game. A total of 3. Year before that, there was one. That was Manny Machado. And just to take this one step further, 66 players this year have played in every game. That's it. It's incredible what he did. And it's only been a month.
I was there when Cal broke the streak. That was pretty cool.
I was there for his final game. That was an amazing night too. The 2-2. I'm assuming you were the opposition that night.
Yeah. Standing in center field when he hit the double and did the lap and did the home run the night before. Crazy. The things I was allowed to watch and witness in the course of my career was unbelievable. We seem to be lucky. We just always seem to be at the right spot at the right time.
The 2-2 pitch to Carpenter. I'm assuming everybody, and especially the players that night, were just in awe of the accomplishment playing that much.
The magnitude of the game, it was like a World Series game. It elevated every single person. The place was sold out.
There's a base hit into center by Carpenter.
It was in Baltimore, which was even better. Standing room only, people everywhere in the street. It's a good job by Carp right here. Go down and get that ball. And that ball right back up the middle, right where it came from, as they say.
Then Ripken, that famous night, made the lap, and the
right
game
behind
was
me.
stopped. Did you go over and shake his hand?
No, not in the outfield. I did not. But all the guys stood up on the top step when he came down third base dugout, the visiting dugout there.
That's fouled back by Jed Jerko. We were talking about Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, the home run chase, bringing fans and their love affair with the game back to ballparks, and certainly Cal Ripken, same thing.
President Clinton was there.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. Came in and said hello to everyone on both sides, which I thought was really awesome.
0-1 pitch. 0-2. All right-handed bullpen. Barnes, who we saw last night, and Juan Merenez on the right side there of your screen. Lee Tunnell is the bullpen coach, and he pitched with the Cardinals back in the 1980s. To the count with a runner at first base. Jerko is struck out on a slider and grounded out to third.
You're rallying the troops.
Big gap in left center. And a 1-2 pitch to Jed Jerko. Got him to chase, popped up into the grass in the outfield, and the catch is made by VR.
And I want to just show you like a little bit of what it does when you pitch in effectively. And he's thrown some good pitches inside underneath Jed Jerko, underneath a couple of guys, and all that does is make you think about it and then cheat a little bit, and then there goes the butt. The legs go out, and then no chance on the slider. And that is what good pitching will do to good hitting.
So one out. Here's Piscotty, a base hit into center. He's 1 for 2. Check on Carpenter, back in safely. We're coming to you from the UMB Champions Club. And again, one night only. Visit Cardinals.com to access the specially priced $99 tickets. The Cardinals and the Brewers, June 13th, 14th, and 15th. Cardinals.com/TV. And did he go? He did.
Even Steven will agree to that. I think the thing about bunting too is it's not where your bat is out there as much as when the ball's crossing the plate, as if you really did get it out there, bunt, and then pull it back. You usually really got to get it back early, and I just don't think he was back quite early enough. Made a really good. Then you talk about making an effort for a pitch. That's where that play comes into right there a lot, is just making an effort for the bunt.
Instead of bunting, he launches this one into left. It is off the wall. Carpenter to third, and he stopped there. You could see Chris Maloney way down the line, and Carpenter made sure to pick him up as he was going to third base. Second and third, one out for the Cardinals.
Another good job of hitting right there, staying within yourself.
That's what I think you'd rather see out of Piscotty than him trying to bunt.
The bad part about that is, and there's it is, back-to-back pitches. They say, why are you bunting when you can do that? But just never know what's going to happen out there.
That'll be it for Peralta. Craig Counsell goes to his pen. The Chevy called to the bullpen. Baseball, stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Cardinals home screen icons, app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, and more. It's all at MLB.com. At bat today. We saw him last night, Jacob Barnes, and you looked at him. You saw him throw one pitch, and you said, I don't think I'd like to face this guy.
Come in, puffing and puffing, and veins were popping, and first pitch out of his arm was like 96, 97.
See how aggressive Yachty wants to be on the first pitch. A lot of times someone comes in, want to get that first pitch strike, and Molina is all over it. The infield is drawn in. Runners at second and third. First pitch swinging. It's almost as if he makes the commitment prior to the swing.
He does a really good job, though, most of the times of being able to hold up on a pitch he doesn't want to hit. But what I was going to say right there is it makes it a little easier to be more aggressive. Really, all he has to do is hit a fly ball into right center field, a lazy fly ball to score the run. And so you can maybe extend a little bit outside the strike zone. And the thing is, you're trying to get it done as soon as possible because you know this is an important run.
And the 0-1 is lifted out to center. Perez is back, the edge of the track. Two runners will tag up, one will score. That's Carpenter. Piscotty to third, and Molina makes it a 1-0 St. Louis lead. What's on tap? Adam Wainwright. We hope we have baseball tomorrow. Rain in the forecast, but we'll come your way at 6:30 tomorrow. Wainwright against Chase Anderson. 6:30 with the pregame show. The Budweiser What's on Tap. Wainwright coming off a win last time out. Very good in his lone appearance against Milwaukee. Picked up his first win of the season. He struck out 9 in 5.
You can see getting that one run on the board is loosening up the dugout a little bit. They're having a little bit of fun now. They're up by 1-0.
Sacrifice fly was the 54th in the career of Yadier Molina, which ties him third on the all-time list in Cardinals history with Ozzie Smith.
A little bit of an oddball stat.
Yeah. Good play to keep it in front. Piscotty back to the bag at third. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Jacob Barnes. Nothing too fancy. Very good fastball, slider. That's a plus pitch.
Just took a power guy and replaced him with the power guy.
And again, it's kept in front. You know, that's a good point. Do you think managers sometimes look for a guy like Peralta? We talked about top 10 velocity and fastballs. Do you try then to offset it later in games with maybe a softer thrower or maybe a soft tosser from the left side?
I think you do certain times, but also think you're doing the matchup situation too with who's coming up to hit that inning and see what type of hitters versus what type of pitcher that is. Either way I look at it here is you have Grichuk and then you have Wong. Both those guys chase fastballs up versus good velocity. So maybe he's thinking if he stays with the guy with the good velocity that he has strikeout potential, because that's really what you're looking for in this with Yadi. And here you want to get the strikeout so the run doesn't score.
And it's a 2-out walk to Grichuk. Extends the inning to Colton Wong. This is where your lack of a lefty comes into play right now if you're Milwaukee.
Yeah, and if that run scores before they go to the bullpen, maybe they bring in a guy, maybe a sinker ball guy with a guy on first and 1 out. And then instead of bringing a power guy out of the bullpen to look for the strikeout with the guy on third base. A lot of stuff going on down there. A lot of charts and graphs and percentages nonstop.
Yep. So 2 outs. Runners at first and third. And 2 outs. My partner tonight is the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds, who is 12th all-time in RBIs in Cardinals history, 713. Yadier Molina now just 1 back of Jim Edmonds.
Nice, Yadi.
Here's the 0-1. And it's hit to the right side. That's a base hit. A run will score. That's Piscotty. Wong comes through with a big 2-out hit. And that makes it 2-0 St. Louis. Colton Wong, what a difference a night can make. Put that game behind you, and he's had a great game this evening.
Another good adjustment by Colton, making the swing a little bit shorter. He took that 1 shot at it. Now he's taking a little bit easier approach, a little bit shorter swing, make sure he puts the ball in play. You know what I like what he's done in the last couple of times he's put the ball in play, where you can see the bat path has become flatter. You know, you take that big swing, go ahead and try to launch one, but then you got to get back, and I think he's starting to realize that he's getting that top hand on top of the ball, and he's taken some really good swings, but they've been a lot flatter through the zone, and they put balls in play, and they've had really good results.
Extends the inning to Carlos Martinez. 2-0 our score. 2 on, 2 outs. And Adrian Beltre again falls to his back knee. Close the book on Peralta. 5 1/3, couple of runs, 5 hits, struck out 7, walked 2. And the 0-1.
He's looking hitterish.
He's ready to jack one out of here.
Gosh. He's all over the place in the box. I love it.
Here's a 1-1. He's kind of jumping around in there, waving the bat. Come on, Jimmy, he's a hitter.
The catcher right there was actually closing the glove to catch the ball, and Carlos hit it out of his glove. That's what good hitters do, though. Wait the ball, get it late, fouled off.
Little bouncer hit up the middle, backhanded, and a tough play by VR. So the Cardinals strand a couple, but they pick up 2, and Colton Wong has been very good defensively and adds a 2-out RBI single to right. Milwaukee 6-1. That's right, just one hit allowed by Carlos Martinez. Colton Wong, the State Farm perfect pair. He's helped him out. Great defensive play there. Then moments ago, this base hit that drives in a run. That made it 2-0, and that's where we stand right now here in the 7th inning. We focus on Wong maybe more than others, and again, I want to give him a lot of credit. You know, even going back to the World Series when he was picked off at first base, tears in his eyes after the game. He stood at his locker. He knew it was coming. I don't like the term he took his medicine, but he did what a pro does. And last night, same deal. He knows that, you know, the loss was a tough one. A lot of it on his shoulders. Bad base running play, the bad defensive play. But to his credit, and he's learning, and the Cardinals have talked about it with him more so than other players, don't let it keep affecting you. Turn the page, play the game. It's a long season.
You got to stand there and accept it, and be responsible, be held accountable, and that'll go so much further than making excuses and running from it. I mean, I was talking to Matheny the other day, and if you look at their lineup, and maybe not tonight, but a lot of the times, half, maybe 2/3 sometimes, have been in the minor leagues in the last 2 or 3 years. And so these guys are still growing and still learning, and still this game, and it's funny the way Mike was saying something that made me think about Diaz. It was in Double-A, what, 2-3 years ago?
Right.
2 years ago, maybe? Well, the difference between playing shortstop in Double-A and playing shortstop in the big leagues, talk about the consistency of the game and how everyone does everything all the time. Every player up here does it all well. Every ball hit at him and now hit harder and in the hole and more spin and just more hard contact at him every time he touches the ball. And that is tough. It shows that sometimes he doesn't go to his left, like you said. If he doesn't, Colton Wong, the ball gets on him faster. You have Grichuk trying to learn up here. You have Piscotty's learning up here. Martinez, you know, and Carpenter, he's been here a while, but still, and there's your leader, and you know, he's trying to work on himself too. It's not like you could just go out there and babysit. And coaches are doing everything they can, but it's a learning process for these young players, and it's a majority of the team, and they're all playing out of position in different positions. And it's just growing pains. And like you said, I was on a team in my rookie year where there was the guy before, there was 2 or 3 guys that had been in the league 3 years or less, and everyone else had been in the league 10, 15 years.
Sure.
So it's the learning experience. When I was with the Angels, was the focus was on me and one other guy, where the focus here is on the majority of the team, teaching them how to run the bases and how to pick up the coach and when to, the ball that I think Colton got handcuffed last night, he thought he just had an easy play because it happened so quick, and he just didn't set his feet. And those are the things you just have to be reminded all the time. You have to set your feet on the infield.
2-2 gets him to reach, and it's tapped foul.
It's like when we played the Detroit Tigers in the World Series, and the pitchers were throwing the ball all over the place. And you know what? Every day during spring training, when they hit comebackers, they're yelling, set your feet, step and throw. And yet you're talking about October, and they're still doing it wrong. The game is just so much faster up here and so much more consistent.
Long gobbles it up, makes the play.
And even look at that play for Colton right there. It's like you talk about the pitchers all the time and how their windup has to match their arm speed, and they talked about Mike Leake making a better effort going forward. Watch what he does right here. Yanks up his glove super fast and then gets set and then slows down. And that is where sometimes your arm will get ahead of your body or it'll drag, and that's what causes the ball to be thrown offline a little bit more than if you just stay with that momentum. And a lot of pitchers work a lot of hours on keeping that momentum even. It's the same on the infield and the same in the outfield.
Travis Shaw, another ground ball out. Well, that sinker is working tonight here for Carlos Martinez.
Yeah, he's got no hit stuff tonight, and he is one of those games where if he stays in it mentally for 9 innings, he might end up throwing a 1-hit shutout. He just has to stay focused for 9 solid innings, keep that pitch count down, and know when to turn it up a notch, know when to try to get that ground ball.
It's 12 ground ball outs, couple of strikeouts, 6 flyouts, only 1 walk, only 2 strikeouts. So that's why your pitch count too this deep in the game is only at 77. That's something that great pitchers learn too. The strikeout, you love it. It's kind of a glorified play in the game, and that is time called. As Martinez is working quickly, but you stay in games by putting the ball in play. Well,
you stay in games longer, yes. The strikeout definitely has its place, and it's definitely needed for sure. But unless you're a guy that can get to the pitch count of 120 pitches, you're going to need that sinker right there, ground ball. And you see on the scorecard, there's a lot of those tonight. What do you say, 12 ground ball outs, but just got to stay focused and keep throwing the same way. Don't try to change just because you're either starting to get a little tired or you're trying to do a little bit more than you need to do.
Gets the call. Santana at the plate. He has flied to right and also struck out. Lone hit was a base hit by Travis Shaw back in inning number 5, and it's 3-2. It is a gem being pitched here tonight by Martinez. 3-2 pitch, tapped foul.
These young players, like tonight, for Martinez's sake, comes in the dugout. I know it's the 7th inning, but when he comes in the dugout, you remind him, hey, keep going. Don't stop.
Off his glove, and that'll be a base hit. Almost came up with it. And the second hit of the night for Milwaukee.
So we jinxed him a little bit.
Well, it happens.
It happens. We almost got this, though. It was a good no-look. Would have been a good no-look catch.
It brings in Nick Franklin, former 27th overall pick in 2009 by Seattle, and he was claimed off of waivers from Tampa Bay. The Brewers have not won a series in St. Louis since 2014. But this year, so far, very good road team. They're 7-3 after the win last night. And a changeup that gets by Yachty. And to the backstop, so the second wild pitch charged to Carlos Martinez.
Carlos just yanks this. He's trying to throw it down and away, and thought he just not really much he can do, trying to knock it down. Not really expecting the ball to be on the complete opposite side of the plate, let alone in the other batter's box.
And it's tapped foul. Here's a 2-1 pitch. And Franklin off the glove of Carpenter. Everybody safe. And things have just gotten very interesting here in this game. Runners at first and third. Franklin is hurt on that play.
This could have been a mess right here.
Sure could have. You can see that ball going past Carlos. Nice play.
Twisted his ankle.
It's an error on Carpenter, his third.
Watch the right foot. Well, we get a better look at it again.
The right ankle there of Franklin on the side of the bag going up the line. And for the Cardinals, that is their 24th error. So they are tied right now with Milwaukee and Pittsburgh for the most errors in the National League. So runners at the corners. Looks like Franklin will stay in the game. Aaron Carpenter is third. By the way, the Cardinals came in -10. Those of you that do follow sabermetrics, but -10 defensive runs saved. 27th in Major League Baseball. So runners at the corners with 2 outs. And the batter will be Bandy. Breaks his bat, little floater down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Run will score. Franklin on his way to third and in there safely. So the tying run 90 feet away. Sore ankle or not, winds up at third base.
Amazing what a little adrenaline can do for you.
Looked pretty good there. As great as Martinez has been in this game, needs one more out to get out of this 7th. It's now 2-1. Arcia at the plate.
It's a thing when you're cruising and you're out of the windup the whole game, and all of a sudden you get into the stretch.
Good point.
You got a feel for kind of how you want to keep that momentum. Just a little different. Ooh, jeez.
Pitch at 96 and off the bat probably 100 plus.
Did you see where that ended up? Almost taking out the entire dugout on the Cardinals side.
So 25 pitches here in the top of the 7th inning. And that's hit out of play. So maybe just one more pitch potentially here in this game for Martinez.
These guys take some hacks, don't they?
Yes, they do. That's your shortstop with that kind of swing. Here's an 0-2 pitch. Molina sets up outside, and he got away with it. Arcia slams his bat, slams his helmet, and it's time to stretch here at Busch Stadium. Milwaukee gets on the board with an RBI by Jet Bandy. And with that, it's a 2-1 St. Louis lead. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Top of the lineup. And this is Oliver Drake. Saw him last night in that good changeup. Fowler is 0 for 2 with a walk. It's our Chevy called to the pen. And the 1-0. Take a look at our home plate umpire and how he sets up. Dan Iasonia. His left hand will just basically barely touch the catcher. Right when the pitch comes, a lot of times he'll move that left hand on the catcher just like that. But it's not the push of Jerry Crawford that you may recall from a few years ago.
The push.
You were in that game. Mike Matheny was behind the plate, and it was one of the most odd things you had ever seen in a baseball game.
Mike came into the dugout and said, "Tony, this is like literally pushing me down," before Mike said anything to the umpire. And I think they tried to take care of it quietly, and he just wasn't stopping.
We noticed it on the broadcast because Mike actually turned around at one point, and he was one never to go face to face with an umpire. He had a conversation in a professional manner, maybe his head down. Those two can still hear each other if they want to talk about it. And so we started to pay attention to what was going on, and we couldn't believe what we were seeing. I mean, you just don't expect an umpire to be pushing down the catcher.
Just falling, he was getting old, and he was falling on
it was
top of Mike.
unbelievable.
But I think you watch Dan right here. I think he's doing a really good job. You can see how lightly he's touching him. But I'm wondering if it's he can feel when the catcher moves. You know, if he's got his hands on the catcher and he's watching the pitch, if the catcher starts to move, he can feel it and still watch the pitch and move with him maybe a little bit. I don't know. Get out of the way if he gets out of the way.
I started to notice this about midway through the game, and that left hand just lightly touching the catcher, which a catcher will tell you, hey, no big deal. I'm fine with that.
I mean, he's barely touching him here versus like what you were talking about with Mike. But you see what a good changeup this young man has. Dexter took a fastball painted on the black down and away, but the respect of that changeup sometimes make that, like I said, makes that fastball look a lot harder than it is.
So 1 out, nobody on. Diaz is 0 for 3, 3 ground outs, all to third. That was one of the craziest things I've seen covering the Cardinals and watching Jerry Crawford essentially push down Mike Matheny. And Diaz hits it out of play. I believe in that game Mike got tossed, but you got to do a lot to get him tossed, especially as a player. And we saw that too with Tony.
I'm pretty sure if Mike got tossed, Tony was right behind him. So I remember being in that game and listening to it, but you know, you can't see much from out there.
And that's fouled back.
Standing out in center field, you can't really see what's going on in the infield, especially if you're standing out there in that area. That young man standing, he's way out there.
A ball and 2 strikes on Aledmys Diaz. Outfield very, very deep. That's Hernan Perez in center, and that's about as deep as we'll see a center fielder play at this ballpark. That's a no doubles defense type.
I mean, that's. I don't even know what to say about that. That is way out there.
That's 20 yards past where you would play, probably. And I don't think that's an exaggeration.
Yeah, I was trying to mark that off. I think that 20 yards in normal depth, let alone trying to play somebody that doesn't swing the bat all that well. Trying to see if there's any marks out there where, you know, sometimes you can see where the normal area is, like left fielder standing, you can see the wear in the grass.
Yeah.
Don't really see it in center field as much because they move around a lot more.
The 2-2. And Diaz chases a pitch up and strikes out. So back-to-back Ks for Drake. Start the bottom of the 7th.
Said that changeup being so devastating. It's this fastball is just that much better. Only 92, which is still great velocity, but just so tough to recognize one pitch versus the other, and makes you swing at a lot of bad pitches. Worried about that fastball sneaking by you.
So here's Carpenter, who's 2 for 3. Scored the first run in this game on a sac fly by Yadier Molina in the 6th, when the Cardinals picked up their 2 runs. That changeup has got a lot of movement too.
Talked about it last night. Studying pitchers. This guy, I would be hours. If I was facing this guy a few times a year, I'm studying until I figure it out.
There it was again. Same pitch.
Really good changeup. That arm action, arm angle, jumping at you. Makes that changeup so difficult to pick up.
So nothing into the count with 2 outs. Does he go with 3 consecutive changeups? He does, and just missed. He's had a changeup with the righties that goes away from them, and a changeup that goes away from the lefties.
Looks like he can cut it a little bit. That's a split right there, split grip.
2-2 the count. Wanted it up, got it there, full count.
Gotta take a look at this grip on this changeup. Can't really tell from that angle.
That was the fastball that was high there. Three-two pitch. So 3-2 the count.
I feel like they're using 1 and 2 as fastballs. Maybe the 1 is a sinker and the 2 is a four-seamer.
And he struck him out. So he strikes out the side here in the bottom of the 7th. Good ball game, well pitched, well played. We head to the 8th. The Cardinals on top. Game 2 of this 4-game set. It's 2-1. We are in the 8th inning. 7 innings so far. 3 hits. And that pitch is taken inside, and we're underway. Jesus Aguilar. Good fastball, still at 95 from Carlos Martinez. So he is your ace. He's your number 1. Rough last inning. Let him start this inning, see how it plays out. But you also think about this. Seung-Hwan Oh had an inning plus yesterday, 2 innings in the game. And then the day before, Trevor Rosenthal had 30+ pitches against the Reds on Sunday. So something to keep in mind as you think about why he's here in the 8th.
Well,
and I don't think anybody would argue that he should be back out there.
Still throwing 90 miles, 97 mile an hour sinkers too. So I'll stick with that as long as I can.
Oh yeah, it's part of the equation.
It's like he's got some jump back in his step, and I'd like to ride this out if I was in charge here.
2-2 pitch. Hit up the middle and a base hit. Tying run is aboard.
But that's okay. I mean, that's, and obviously they might want to make a move quick, but I'm still looking at the fact that he can still get a double play or a strikeout here. Just trying to get outs right now.
The switch hitting, Jonathan VR.
You also get to the top of the order now and you start playing the matchup game a little bit. Do you want him to hit right-handed? Do you want him to hit left-handed?
Cardinals do have activity in their pen. You've got the lefty on deck in Thames. And Brett Cecil has been throwing in the Cardinals pen. And VR pops it foul and out of play.
Not such good hands down there, my friend.
I'll tell you what, too, Jimmy, these souvenirs, they come in hot over here. Little stinger there for VR.
Yeah, little off the end right there, little action. You get to pretty much numb your fingers up, and not much you can do about it for the next pitch or two.
Here's the 0-1. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, you're a manager, you're always thinking ahead, not just this at bat, the next at bat. You're thinking next inning. But in this particular case, you got to ask yourself, is Brett Cecil getting loose for Eric Thames, or is it Travis Shaw?
And if you think that he's getting loose for Thames and why he's not pitching to Villar, that's another question for Mike, because he asks himself, do you want to see Villar versus Martinez left-handed or versus Cecil right-handed? So you just, like I said, it's options are there, numbers will tell you where to go with it, and then your gut also make you follow through.
That pitch at 97.
But you know that they were thinking about that 45-50 minutes ago, and we're talking about it now.
Big pitch right here, 2-2. And it spoiled it out of play again at 97 miles an hour. The 2-2 again. Ooh, late break doesn't get the call.
Really good try right there. It's a good pitch by Martinez, not giving in, throwing the ball where he's supposed to. But you're looking at that too. Command is still there.
Got him. An 86-mile-an-hour changeup. What a pitch that is here in the top of the 8th. And so Mike Matheny, here's the answer to our question. He will go to his bullpen. A fabulous night on the mound for Carlos Martinez. A 3-2. And that was the slider that he got VR with.
Such a good pitch. The ball's going down and not around.
And the game on the line for Brett Cecil. He comes in to face Eric Thames, the owner of 11 home runs. Again, you look back in this game, and one of the things that is costly for the Cardinals was back in the 7th, and the error on Carpenter that would have gotten Martinez through the 7th scoreless led to Bandy and a base hit that scored a run, and now the go-ahead run is at the plate. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Thames. Ooh, what a cut. Lefties hitting 400, righties 310.
Those are not bad numbers there, Dan.
Ooh, scary. Here's a 1-1 pitch. And it's popped up. Jed Jerko is there. And that all important out. Dangerous man is down.
Missed his location, but it ended up being a good pitch. Ball riding in up and in on his hands, and got to pop up the third. Thank you.
Hernan Perez is hitless tonight, 0 for 3. So 2 outs, runner at first base. And the first pitch swung on and missed as Matt Bowman is getting loose in the Cardinals pen. One pitch. Line drive into the gap in right center. Be cut off by Fowler. Runner advances to third base, and it brings in last night's hero again, Travis Shaw.
Dexter going over there cutting that off. Obviously they only played to second base.
Our crowd tonight, 38,616, 38616. So here it is again, game on the line, and Travis Shaw is at the plate. Homered in extra innings last night, first ever extra inning home run and first ever RBIs in extra innings. He's 1 for 4 against Cecil. And he yanks that down the right field line, foul. And that 1 for 4 comes with Shaw being a member of the Boston Red Sox, Cecil with the Toronto Blue Jays in the American League East. The tying run at third base. Look at that, against lefties, 320.
Bearing down against lefties.
Here's a 1-1. Just saw Yachty motion to his left, telling the infielders where that pitch is going. Well, Shaw on Sunday was out with a bruised hand, and he had the 3-run homer last night in game 1. The 2-1 pitch. Popped up. Out of play.
Takes some kind of hack, doesn't he?
Shaw wants that one back.
I think he missed that one a little bit. Be interested to see right here, running on 2-2 against the lefty. Yachty doesn't go out there and try to throw him out, but Look at the way the defense. I don't think Colton can get there in time. What do you think?
Not a chance.
He's not covering second.
Crowd comes alive. This may be your game right here. The 2-2. Outside corner, struck him out. Proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals and by Bud Light, famous among friends, and by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's go back to Brett Cecil moments ago.
Four-seam fastball right on the corner. Gotta love it.
You know he does.
Kind of a subdued Yahoo.
Up and into Jerko. Juan Marinez, the pitcher now for Milwaukee. Once again, if you just joined us, we're at the UMB Champions Club. And to get those specially priced $99 UMB Champion Club tickets, Cardinals and Brewers, June 13th, 14th, and 15th. Just visit cardinals.com/TV. Night like tonight, it's perfect. A little chilly. It's our Chevy call to the pen. A seat outside, climate controlled inside. 30 flat screen TVs. Some of those fans checking out the Blues. 3 full service bars, carving station, normal ballpark fare as well, but check it out, the UMB Champions Club. Be unfortunate if Phil tripped. The 2-1 pitch. Jerko, for the first time in a while, has been quiet in this game. Struck out, grounded out, popped out. And a swing and a miss.
It's an unusually big swing for Jed Jerko right there. You don't really see that. Haven't seen that for a while. And times, like I said, that inside fastball can get you off your game a little bit.
Well, the Cardinals collectively in this lineup, they have struck out 11 times, but they have a lead of 2-1. And a pitch in the dirt to Stephen Piscotty. Doubled off the wall, scored back in the 6th. Base hit to center in the 4th, struck out. One 0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Blues and Predators are scoreless in the 2nd period. Post-game show coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. 1-2 the count.
Relievers come in and make it so tough to be consistent as far as a hitter. You're seeing a different guy every at bat late in the game. And one guy with a nasty slider, another guy with a good changeup, good fastballs. Guy's throwing 96, moving the ball around.
Here's a 1-2. It's one of the big differences, I think, from when you first came up. And that's not very long ago, but the specialization of the game. And for a guy like yourself, facing lefties late in games.
Sometimes you don't get a chance to see these guys very often, maybe only once a year, maybe never.
And a called 3rd strike. So Moreñez with the 12th strikeout for the Brewers tonight. Cardinals have struck out 5 straight times, 12 in the game. So 2 outs, nobody on. First RBI of the night was Yadier Molina. Sac fly back in the 6th and his 9th driven in this year. The Brewers have tied their season high with these 12 strikeouts. 2-0.
See that crossfire, 95. Down and away, down. I mean, that's some tough stuff. That righty stuff with these guys makes it so hard. I said it the other night, being a right-handed hitter in this league is so difficult. You can see why when this guy's pitching right here.
Two and 1 the count. Two and 2. Jimmy, I need you focused on Cardinal baseball. Not on the hockey game. Ooh, they almost scored. Wait a minute.
Some energy back in the building.
2-2 pitch. And Molina sends one down the right field line. And out of play. Trevor Rosenthal is up and throwing in the Cardinals pen. The UMB Champions Club here at the ballpark. There's a look at your view. Cardinals.com/TV for those $99 tickets. That's tapped foul.
It's hanging tough. This guy does not look like a fun at bat for a right-hander.
The 2-2 pitch to Molina. Really good at bat here. The second baseman on the outfield grass. Shortstop, normal position. It's amazing the different spots that they will put infielders in. 3-2. Out of play. We're in the bottom of the 8th. 2-1 our score. Santana, Franklin, Bandy coming up in the 9th. 3-2 pitch. And we'll do it again. We talked about it a lot. Molina, very tough to strike out. That has been the case whether his average was above 300 or even 220. Always has been tough to strike out.
Does a really good job of staying within himself late in the count. See, he's just fouling pitches off that he can't get to.
3-2 again. Outstanding at bat. Yadier Molina, 2-out walk. And it brings us to our Yellowwood. Bringing the lumber thanks to Stephen Piscotty. Nearly a home run. That was off the bat of Piscotty back in the 6th. Here's Randall Grichuk. He has walked, he has struck out, and popped out to second. And that'll get away. To the backstop it goes. Molina to second. Now on his way to third. The throw not in time. A head first slide. Yadier Molina. Jimmy, you were excited about that play.
I was trying to tell Yachty to run without yelling at him from up here. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, though. I thought from this angle that that ball was actually going to go over the backstop. And I don't know if I've ever seen a ball bounce that high. Look at the people in the front row right there.
It almost did go over. You're right.
Head first slide at the end, a little bloody up the elbows. Blister up the hands.
He's had worse.
Just needs a little bit more.
We haven't seen one of those just epic blasts off the bat of Grichuk just yet. Fastball pitcher, if he centers one, could hit it 500 feet. Here's a 1-0 pitch. In the dirt, 2 balls, no strikes. A bat like Molina's too, so frustrating for Marinez. Can't put him away. Now you fall behind 2-0.
And like you said, you know on the mound, if he throws that ball down the middle, he knows he could lose one in a hurry.
The 2-0. The slider in there for a strike.
That's why you get the 2-0 slider. Probably going to get a couple more of those too.
And he got it there. It's 2-2. And another slider here. Let's see. The 2-2. Left that one over the middle of the plate.
Yes, he did. I was going to. You said you might see another slider. If you swing in a slider in the dirt like that, you've just bought yourself a few more. I think if you saw the count 1 and 2, you'd probably get a fastball up, but being 2 and 2, I'm sure you'll stick with the slider.
The 2-2. He got the slider and he strikes out. That sends us to the 9th. A 2-1 lead for St. Louis. Rosenthal coming on when we come back. Talking with Al the other day that you could have a scenario in which the Cardinals could have that 1-2 punch at the back end of games, O and Rosenthal, and feel very comfortable with both.
You definitely can feel comfortable is right. I mean, obviously Trevor, history is very good closing out games, and 0-2, so whoever is the healthier one of the two, it's a long year. Feel comfortable with using both.
So 30+ pitches the other day, and I asked Trevor in the clubhouse, are you available back-to-back games? And he said the training wheels are off. Absolutely. You know, they want to be very cautious with him beginning of the season and coming off the lat injury, but he had been warming up on what would have been a couple of back-to-backs. You see he's thrown 41 fastballs at 100+ miles an hour. 100 or 100+. Here's a 1-1 to Santana. Inside corner. 1-2.
He's done a really good job this year so far of keeping the ball down and hitting his spots, and hasn't lost any velocity at all.
Sets up outside, gets it there. You notice a more compact delivery too?
He looks different than he did last year. I don't really know. I can't pinpoint it. He looks a little smoother. He looks like he's got everything going and downhill towards the target.
And a strikeout to start the ninth. Chased a ball up. Trevor will take it. And there's one away. Cardinals trying to pick up the first win of the year for Carlos Martinez and get back to 500.
A little high heat for you.
Woo. Not going to catch up with that.
No.
Here's Nick Franklin, reached on an air back in the 7th. And the first pitch to him, a little bit low. pitch at 99.
That angle doesn't do it justice.
On you in a hurry.
It does. And then Yachty catching it nice and soft doesn't help either.
The 2-0. There it is. 2-1.
Plenty of time to hit that. It's like a couple seconds worth.
0.2. Here's a 2-1 pitch by Rosenthal. Hit the other way, and he lines it to third, and Jerko positioned perfectly for out number 2. The hot corner there for Jed Jerko. So game 1 went to extra innings. Game 2 here. 2 outs here in the 9th, and now it brings in, I don't even need to look, I can hear the boos. It's Ryan Braun, who has tremendous numbers against Rosenthal. 9 for 13, couple of home runs. One of those homers hit the recent road trip through Milwaukee. The first pitch to him. Fouled back. Braun has been dealing with a sore arm. Did not play yesterday. And pinch hitting here tonight.
That's where they need to go, right there.
0-2.
You got to pitch him in.
Two pitch, spoiled by Braun at 100.
But that's right there why I tell you why the pitch inside is so important. Because you see that, that's 100 miles an hour. He can wait, and flip his bat and foul that pitch off. That ball's inside, no chance. But then, obviously, it's a 2-1 game. You can't lose the ball inside for a home run. I'm just saying that's why the pitch inside is so effective. Because you cannot do that with it.
0-2 pitch in the dirt. Braun is 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter this year.
Good guess.
1-2 pitch. Struck him out. The Cardinals hold on for the win. Rosenthal the save. Martinez his first win of the year. And the Birds are back to 500. 13-13. The final of 2-1.
Really nice game by Carlos Martinez. Kept him in the game for a solid 7 innings and squeaked this one out. But I like what we saw tonight out of Carlos. I think that he is on his way to finding something.
He is our Budweiser player of the game, Carlos Martinez, as he goes 7 1/3 here this evening. Good work by Cecil out of the pen. The reaction for Carlos Martinez. He's got to win. And so do the Cardinals. Jimmy has his foam finger. It's 2-1 the final.